have gone before us in terms of the quality and the entertainment and the action in these games, and you have a start like that on such a special day, sends a shiver down the spine actually, and I'm sure the players are going to be right in the mood and up for this game.
And those two poppy wreaths that were left by the Chelsea pensioners in the centre circle were left there for the two captains, Martin Odegaard and Moises Caicedo, to walk, pick them up and walk together side by side off the field to lay them down on the side of the pitch. So we're ready to go here. The World Service are with us, the BBC World Service listeners. Welcome to what is the final Premier League match of the weekend, the final Premier League match before the November international, so the last one for a fortnight, and we think it'll be a good one as the match begins and Arsenal fire it downfield. Arsenal in the red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts and red socks against Chelsea here in the blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. And in the first half, Chelsea are attacking towards the shed stand. And Arsenal coming forward. Here's Ben White on the right-hand side. Here's a ball for Kai Havertz to chase, but goalkeeper Sanchez will come well out of his penalty area, 10 yards or so, just volley this downfield. And at the other end, Raya takes a couple of tentative steps out of his penalty area and then heads it away downfield towards the halfway line. We weren't necessarily expecting, Matt, when you and I were sitting in Milan the other night and Kai Havertz had to leave the field, that he'd be able to play in this, but there he is out there, the number 29, the top scorer.
Yeah, it was a question mark, wasn't it? I mean, it's always difficult to tell with a head injury, because when you're exercising and you're pumping blood around your body, you split your head, it does bleed really badly, and it did look bad, but he's obviously well enough. There's no concussion issue. It will just be a kind of soft tissue injury, and he's fit and available to play, so it's a big boost for Arsenal.
Yeah, on the subject of softness, that's a soft free kick won by Chelsea. Martinelli, wasn't much contact on the back of him, but Caicedo went down, and as the Chelsea captain, with Reece James on the bench and Fernandes on the bench, Caicedo doing his bit there, standing up and motioning and urging the Chelsea fans in the Matthew Harding stand to make more noise, but it is Arsenal coming forward against him. Here is Kai Havertz, the former Chelsea man, remember, scored the winning goal for Chelsea in the Champions League final in Porto, as Chelsea win it back. Here's Palmer inside his own half, left-footed pass nicely out to his mate Madueke, his England colleague on the right-hand side. Madueke making ground down the right wing. Gusto on the overlap. Gusto cuts it back towards the penalty spot, and Partey is there to wallop it away out of play on the far side.
Well, that is Thomas Partey's job this afternoon. When Chelsea break, his head has to be on the swivel, checking where is Cole Palmer, where's my position, and he was bang on cue there, just arrived in front of Palmer.
Palmer has a goal from 25 yards on his left foot. It was just above Raya, the goalkeeper. He had a good sight of it, just above his head, but he had to push it over the bar, but he did.
Yeah, an early tester for Raya, just to check he's tuned in. Smashes it with his left foot, Cole Palmer. Partey just stays off him, thinking he's not going to shoot here, and he just hits it. It's a little bit of dip on the ball and swerve. He did have to adjust his feet quite quickly, David Raya, just to get his hand on that.
Do you know what, Matt? That's quite Cole Palmer, isn't it? Doing something that the opposition wouldn't necessarily have expected.
Very him, in fact. That's what makes him such a special player at the moment.
Yeah, he was a doubt for this. He had ice on his knee after Martinez's challenge on him last Sunday afternoon at Old Trafford, but he's past fit, he's okay, he's out there, takes the corner. Arsenal were able to clear it away at the near post. Still 0-0. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. If you're on the move on this November afternoon, remember you can listen to 5 Live, Sports Extra as well, on BBC Sounds, and that is the choice of listening right now. The latest Autumn International, Scotland-South Africa, is on Sports Extra as we speak. Kilmarnock-Celtic was a 3 o'clock kick-off. Celtic 1-0 up last we heard. Kenny Crawford.
They've doubled that lead now, John. 72 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2. It's man of the moment, Nicholas Kuhn, the German winger, scored 2 against Leipzig during the week, and he's run down the right, cut inside and curled one past Robbie McCrory here. Celtic 2-0 up in Kilmarnock.
So Kuhn adding to the goal that McGregor scored earlier. Celtic matching Aberdeen after their victory yesterday evening. 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Ball in the centre field. Lavia comes in and takes it away, and then Jackson, still inside his own half, is able to pass it to the far side. Still Burnley 0, Swansea 0, by the way, with about 20 minutes to play at Turf Moor. Here's Madueke on the right flank, playing it back to Caicedo behind him, and then Cole Palmer dropping deep all the way back to Colwill, another member of the Chelsea England contingent. That there's so many out there who'll be international teammates. They're opposing each other today, but international teammates tomorrow. They'll be meeting up, won't they? Certainly the England players at St George's Park.
Yeah, big week, isn't it? Getting together, and like you say, you've got this huge competitive fixture just before the get-together, and then you'll probably see each other and shake hands this evening at the hotel and try and put it all behind you and focus on performing well for your country. But Cucurella at left back is an interesting one as well.
Yes, as Palmer receives it and he moves away from Partey and then smoothly passes it to Gusto, who's going to try a shot, but Gabriel and Timber were together and it's blocked out of play on the far side. Yeah, Cucurella, what's behind that then, with James on the bench today?
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's just switched it up. Cucurella's come in, and you think a player that's had a summer like he had, you think he'd come straight back to his club team and hit the ground running, but it's been difficult for Marc Cucurella, but he gets the nod today. Yeah,
gets the nod, and whenever he nods, his hair goes all over the place. And he's got his gloves on as well today.
Black hint of jealousy there.
He's a commentator's dream, Cucurella. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, Chelsea in possession. We're going to go to Murrayfield. In fact, let's do that now, because Caicedo's pass is overhit. It's out of play. So come in from Edinburgh, Jamie Lyle.
Well, Scotland, John, have taken the lead. They've scored 2 quick-fire penalties through Finn Russell. They lead by 6 points to 5. But, crucially, the yellow card I told you about earlier to Scott Cummings has been upgraded on review to a 20-minute red card. So Scotland's still down to 14 men for the next 5 or 6 minutes. They do lead by a point, though, against the back-to-back world champs.
Yep. England play South Africa next weekend. You'll hear that on 5 Live. And Wales have lost today, if you've not heard that. Wales 19, Fiji 24. First time Fiji have won away against Wales. The other point about Cucurella, it's like the Euros final all over again. Yeah. Cucurella and Saka against one another.
Well, I think the matchups in those positions, the 4 quadrants of the pitch, in terms of that one, you've got the other side with Gusto, Martinelli, you've got Timber with Madueke and White with Neto. They're fascinating. All 4 of those are going to be really good one-on-one duels at some point in the game.
Mikel Arteta is just being shuffled back into the coaching area by Andy Madley.
He won't make the same mistake again.
Will he not?
Oh, it's tempting, isn't it, when you're that close to the play?
Getting a belated yellow card for handball. His first yellow card for handball for some time. Yeah. As Cucurella plays it back into the penalty area. Yes, that caused some mirth, didn't it, in San Siro the other night. Sanchez plays it out, but it bounces off Gusto, and Arsenal. Here's Odegaard. That's a lovely ball through from Odegaard, which Havertz then flicked out to the left-hand side, and Timber out there. It's Gabriel out there. What's he doing on the left wing? He wins a corner in the full-back position.
How was he even up there? But once he got there, he had an option to go one-on-one and try and get the cross in, and then he thought, why don't I just kick it against his leg and win a corner? It's exactly what he did, because he knows he wants to get in that box, and this ball's going to be swung in by Declan Rice on the left side with an in-swinging right-footed corner taker. Yeah,
so Rice, Arsenal have got the England man Rice back for the taking of this corner. Arsenal, who've scored 27 Premier League goals from set pieces since the start of last season. That's more than anyone else, and 19 of them have come from corners. So Arsenal have got everyone on parade beyond the far post. Rice drives this into the near post, but the referee, Michael Oliver, has said no, we'll have that taken again, because someone's been pushed over. Havertz on the ground.
It was too much contact in the box. I mean, Chelsea are fully aware of what this is Havertz just tangles, I think it's with Caicedo maybe, or Lavia, and Arsenal are all bunched at the back post, and they like to make this move, and they time it perfectly as Rice addresses the ball. They've all got their little spots where they run into and just try and cause chaos, and probably allow maybe only Gabriel to actually go and properly attack the ball. And it makes refereeing, as Michael Oliver just has a chat with Havertz and Lavia, it makes refereeing very difficult.
This is a long chat, this is a long hold-up, while Michael Oliver has a lengthy conversation in the D. So everyone's ready and in position for the taking of this corner. Declan Rice is standing, looking rather impatient, with both hands on his hips, and and the high-vis ball under one arm, and eventually Michael Oliver has finished his lecture to Lavia and Havertz, who go off and take up position again at the back post. 0-0 if you've just joined us. And here's the corner then from Rice, still waits. Rice into the near post, flick by White, and then an attempted overhead kick was all wrong, and Cucurella is able to clear it away, but that was wild. Back to Rice. Rice is crossed left-footed. Gabriel with a header, but he heads it across the penalty area. Comes out though for White with the shot. That's blocked on the edge of the penalty area. Loops high over there towards the left-hand side to Rice, who was challenged by Madueke, who was brave there going in with that sort of challenge in his own penalty area, but he got the ball, took it away from Declan Rice, and now Chelsea are back in possession and Arsenal have to drop back.
That is brilliant from Madueke, I have to say. Not many people get the better of Declan Rice in those shoulder-to-shoulders or trying to snap up the ball. He's brilliant at it, Rice, and I think Madueke just took him by surprise, to be honest. The strength, the aggression, going into the tackle to try and win the ball, and he comes out with it and then finds a pass. It was really good defensive play from the Chelsea attacking wide man. 5 Live
and the World Service. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. As
what a ball.
Colwell hits a magnificent crossfield pass for Madueke. Madueke gets it under control, left foot shot, but he was just closed down. Defensive foot actually deflected the ball away. At the moment that he hit it, the defender's foot came in and the ball just skewed away, sort of looped away, well wide of goal and behind for a corner.
He was scratching for that left foot effort. He knew he just desperate to come inside. That is the one advantage that Timber might have in that position. He knows Madueke really has to come in on his left foot, and he'll just be shaping him there all the time, or showing him down the line. Either way, he can really try and usher him where he wants him.
It's a Cole Palmer, left-footed, outswinging corner to the back post that Raya stretches and catches very well, and then Raya clears it, but as he did so, on his follow-through, he actually kicked into Colwell on the edge of the box, who was running away from him, and he was trying to deliver it downfield with one of those scything deliveries, and he kicked right through into Colwell's upper leg.
Yeah, Colwell limping off with his right short rolled up his thigh. I think there's an element of Colwell trying to get in the way. I think he knows exactly what he's doing there, Levi Colwell. Raya wanted to take it quickly, he checked to kick it, and he just stopped himself, Levi Colwell, to get in his way, and I don't think he expected Raya to kick it, and he ended up kicking straight through him.
Yeah, I think he's okay. He's back in position alongside Fofana, who's in the French squad alongside Saliba, one of the central defenders at the other end. And here he is, the number 29, showing excellent pace there for Chelsea. And I think was perhaps nudged into by Timber, but it had already got to the ball and it's out of play, and it's given us a throw-in to Arsenal. That was an excellent contest, and a sprint between the two of them, which was won by the Chelsea man. Throw-in taken by Timber into the penalty area that's allowed to bounce, and finally I think it bounced behind off Fofana, but Michael Oliver doesn't, and that's the important thing, and it's a goal kick to Chelsea.
Good start to the game. I'm enjoying it. It's very physical, very competitive. You can see the space in behind sometimes, or down the channels, that little quick passage of pass there with Declan Rice just trying to slide Timber in. Lots of good play all over the pitch.
Should have been a corner.
Yeah, it looked like a little just deflection, didn't it?
Yeah, and of course it's happened at the other end. The Arsenal fans are in the shed stand. That was at the Matthew Harding end, so there was no noise to give it away. So they should have had a corner, but they haven't. Goal kick is taken by Chelsea, but Arsenal are back in possession now in the centre circle with Declan Rice. 0-0 here in London. Changing the score in Edinburgh, Jamie Lyle.
Second try for South Africa, unorthodox though it was. A loose line out from the Springboks, picked off by Thomas du Toit, who galloped home amid Scottish confusion to score the second of the evening for the world champions. They lead Scotland now by 12 points to 6.
White with a cross for Arsenal to the back post, where Gusto was able to get up and head it away ahead of Martinelli. Caicedo wins it back. Here's Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, who finds that Gabriel steps in front of him. Excellent defending from Gabriel, and then he's fouled by Jackson. Arsenal take a quick free kick in the centre circle. It finds its way. Here is Saka. So it's Saka against Cucurella for the first time. Cucurella, the Spaniard, backpedaling. Saka shoots it into his legs, and it bounces away out of play. And with those gloves, Cucurella, both hands, sweeps his hair back from his face.
One hand either side. He's doing it again, tucking it behind his ears. must need to, otherwise it's in his face. But
looks like something from one of those old shampoo adverts, doesn't it?
it really does. But
So soft.
Saka didn't get the half a yard there at all. He just hit it. Cucurella had the block. I mean, he's looking to manoeuvre that half a yard, but maybe Cucurella's hair got in his face, John.
Maybe so, but I think he was quite pleased with himself, Cucurella, winning that little contest.
Yeah, it was a little boost, wasn't it?
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Arsenal now with it on the left-hand side, Martinelli, so no Trossard in the team today. Marino, who's another one who was a bit of a doubt with a head injury after he was involved in all of the penalty incident in Milan on Wednesday night. Chelsea, completely different team that played on Thursday against FC Noah here in the Conference League. This is nice from Arsenal, nice combination down the left-hand side. Rice has run onto this. Rice, who is playing with this broken toe. I'm told reliably that it's a little toe that's been broken, perhaps a little bit of bruising to a couple of the other toes as well. As Rice now, right-footed, plays it across field. Cucurella gets up ahead of Saka. Huge cheers as he heads it away ahead of the Arsenal favourite, and then out of play on the halfway line for a throw-in to Arsenal. So come on, Matt, we talked about it the other night, but we've got a little bit more idea now. So how can a player play with a broken toe?
Well, I think the key point is probably the bit that you mentioned in terms of it's the little toe. I mean, you certainly can't do that with a big toe, and I think it depends on whereabouts you are on the foot, how severe it is, and it's obviously settled down enough, whether or not there's some kind of pain-killing help or anti-inflammatory help, I'm sure, maybe just to take the edge off it. But he's moving well, John, I have to say.
Yeah, at this stage, Martinelli and you know, will he have been able to train? He was a little vague, Mikel Arteta, about that.
I wouldn't have thought he would need too much, John. I mean, he's got an amazing base of games, Declan Rice, over the last 5 seasons. He's barely missed one, has he? So I think he can handle a bit of time off and still perform at a good level.
Martinelli, over there on the left-hand side, plays it back to Timber. Now back to Saliba.
Arsenal look better with the ball, though, don't they?
No,
have you
already,
noticed?
yeah,
I mean, the movement, what Odegaard brings, that calmness. He picks up, very similar to Cole Palmer, he picks up areas where he knows he's got space. He then lays other people into the game. I mean, the difference he's made in the opening 16 minutes of this game has been really noticeable.
Yeah, Odegaard just cruising around in centre field with the ball, and then there's a foul by Jackson, which is being given as a free kick for Arsenal. His challenge on Odegaard.
He took a right wallop there.
He did. Welcome back to the big-time Martin Odegaard and Nicholas Jackson. In fact, it's Caicedo, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Caicedo. Just jumps into him, it bounces.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah.
And Odegaard's going to win it, and he's going to get a yellow. Is he going to get a yellow card for this? He maybe should do, because I don't think he's close to winning it. I think Michael Oliver's just having a lengthy chat with him, but that is a real free hit for Caicedo, because I don't think he was going to win that fairly. Odegaard had stooped a little bit to head it, and he had to pull out because the full weight of Caicedo was just flying towards him, and it really did make contact.
Well, you picked the right words there. Free hit.
Yeah,
it was a free hit. He jumped into him, and he's on his feet. Odegaard just sort of dusting himself down after that.
No one really made a fuss for Arsenal, though, to be fair. No one really went to the referee.
Odegaard,
not that you should.
No, well, ball played out to the left-hand side for Martinelli. Odegaard, who came on for the final seconds in Milan. We weren't sure whether he'd be starting this match, but here he is, back in the starting lineup for the first time since the opening matches of the season, as Caicedo then wins a goal kick for Chelsea by blasting the ball into Martinelli, and Madueke uses up a little bit of energy by sprinting across to Caicedo just to give him a high five for that. Martin Odegaard missed 12 matches in all with this ankle injury, so started the first 3 of the season and then came on as a substitute for those final moments in Milan. So Arsenal, as we've said, already benefiting, it would appear, in terms of the way that they play, from having him back. Back to Jamie Lyle at Murrayfield.
With the Springboks are well and truly in the mood. A third try of the night, a second of the day for Makazole Mampimpi. Carbon copy of his first. Neat cross kick from Willy Leroux, sending the veteran winger home. Handré Pollard converting. Scotland 9, South Africa 19, 3 minutes to half-time.
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, with almost 20 minutes on the clock here, and Palmer wriggles away from Partey and plays it to Neto on the left-hand side, and Neto into the box now, left-footed curling cross, Madueke with a header. And Declan Rice did just enough there, coming back in just in front of Madueke as he headed it, which forced the Chelsea man to head it beyond the far post from 6 yards.
Well, Cole Palmer's receiving skills are just on another level. I mean, he can have a touch out of any situation. 3-4 players around him, he finds the route out. Fantastic first touch on his back foot with his left foot, driving again, slips it wide. I actually think Neto can play that first time, John, and Jackson's in. Jackson has a little look at him after to say, if you whip that one touch, he's arriving on the penalty spot for a side-footed finish, very similar to the goal they scored here recently. I can't remember who it was against, but lovely sweeping move, and it was very much that kind of moment, all orchestrated by the first touch of Cole Palmer. Was superb.
Yeah, it was excellent. That'll be in the highlights tonight. Look out for that on Match of the Day too. Lavia wins the ball back from Saka. Now here's Palmer, low ball in to the near post, which is scooped up by the biggest hands in football, who got to it, stuck to those gloves of David Raya. Still 0-0. Here's Havertz, 10 yards inside his own half. Cucurella in with a challenge, and now Jackson shields it from Havertz. Jackson, little pass to his left to Palmer. Palmer tries to give it back to Jackson in the area. He tried to nutmeg Saliba, but Saliba was just able to get his legs together in time, and Arsenal have been able to clear it away downfield. A couple of really exciting, positive moments there for Chelsea, but now Saka is brought down. A challenge from behind by Colwill, who can't believe it. He's saying he got the yellow card, he got the ball, he's also got the yellow card though.
Yeah, he also got Bukayo Saka first, I think would probably be the description. I mean, he's chuckling to himself and can't believe it, but Saka gets the drop on him. Lovely drop of the shoulder, sees the space, and Colwill just wipes him out and then gets a good chunk of the ball, but he has to kick through Bukayo Saka to win it. And that's exactly why he's picked up the yellow card, and it's a definite foul.
Definite foul. And I can see why Michael Oliver's given a yellow card for that as well. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0 on 5 Live and the World Service on another gloomy November afternoon. Darkness now outside Stamford Bridge. You can see some red lights twinkling through a little gap above the Matthew Harding stand roof to my right, and Declan Rice is waiting to take this free kick. He's not happy about something. The Arsenal players run from offside back onside, then in it goes from Rice, but Sanchez comes and gets his 2 fists to it to punch it out to a teammate, Jackson, but Jackson's pass was short. Saka was in quite firmly on Caicedo, and that's given us a free kick, and he'll have felt that from Saka on Caicedo. That's one back, I think, for Arsenal for Caicedo's challenge on Odegaard.
He's got one back for his mate Odegaard, isn't he? Saka.
Has.
I mean, there aren't many people that run into Bukayo Saka and come out on top, John. I mean, he packs some kind of punch. One of the strongest players in the Premier League, pound for pound, Bukayo Saka, and he just reads. Again, Caicedo steaming towards him. Momentum's always going to take him into him to clatter him, and he just jumps in the air and really puts his weight into it and leaves a little bit on Caicedo.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka, who spoke to us when he was the captain in Milan the other night and the day before the game. Chelsea attacking with Madueke down the right-hand side. Gusto tries to backheel it back to Madueke. It bounces across the penalty area. Unfortunately for Arsenal, it bounced into the path of Ben White, who was able to clear it away and got it away first time.
Lovely move, wasn't it? Gusto on the overlap really did take the defender out of the way for Madueke.
Yeah, another lovely move for Chelsea, and here's Neto, little shimmy from him, down onto his left foot, then back onto his right, then he waggles his foot above the ball, lovely footwork, and then in comes the cross to the back post, which is headed over by Gusto. Well, there was a defender there for Arsenal, but Gusto, what a chance that was, and he headed it over the top from maybe 5 yards out.
Well, I thought that the chance had gone because Neto took so long with his twinkle toes to decide whether he was going to cross it with his right or his left. He digs it out with his left foot. Lovely dink to the back post. And it's Martinelli who's got the job of defending that back post with Gusto, and he just switches off. He doesn't quite see the run. Whether or not the little nudge of Martinelli just puts Gusto off, and the ball's a fraction too high that he can't get over top of it. But looking at the replay, John, that should be rippling the back of the net. That's a great inviting cross. Gusto should head the ball down, and it should be 1-0 Chelsea.
The net might be rippling at Turf Moor with you, Sani Rodravagula.
94 gone. Burnley 1, Swansea City 0. Jay Rodriguez has just side-footed the ball down the middle for a goal that's going to be probably the winner. He's on his feet in raptures, so are the fans. Burnley 1, Swansea City 0.
Malo Gusto is still down here receiving treatment on the goal line, so we've got a stoppage in play. Many of the players have come over to the two managers, Enzo Maresca and Mikel Arteta. Half-time in the Scotland-South Africa Autumn International. Jamie Lyle.
Scotland 9, South Africa 19. Just moments ago, the Scots thought they'd hauled their way back within a score with a super try from Ben White, but it was ruled out for a knock-on in the build-up to the tries from Du Toit and a double from Makazole Mapimpi, giving the world champions a 10-point lead at the break.
Still Malo Gusto receiving treatment. Did exceptionally well to get himself into that position. What great work by Neto as well on the left-hand side. I mean, that was dazzling.
I know, we had a little chat about him before, didn't we, about how impressed we've been with him, both of us. I mean, he's just a fantastic talent for me. He's direct, he's pacey, he's got good quality, he gets his head up in the wide area. He's a really good addition to that Chelsea squad.
Yeah, he is, and he showed exactly what he's got in the proverbial locker in that last passage of play. Now they've shifted Malo Gusto off the field, so play back underway, and it is still Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. But that was truly exciting from Pedro Neto. Here's Martinelli now on the left-hand side, which is cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Comes back out to Arsenal. White back to the halfway line, and then forward towards Odegaard. Blonde hair bobbing. Saka now on the right-hand side, back to Ben White behind him. And then Saka again. Cucurella goes close. Saka, though, gets the cross in, right foot into the back post. That was an excellent cross as well. It's like a throwback, isn't it? Crosses coming into the box. What's going on? And then an awful cross from Timber on the left-hand side that's over everyone and through for a goal kick. I don't know about you, I thought that goal that Newcastle scored last weekend, Anthony Gordon's cross for Isak, that was as thrilling a goal as I've seen this season.
It's coming back into the game, John. Crosses being, used to be a huge part of the armoury of a team, didn't it? And then the game went very intricate and short, and I think this season especially has shown how being direct sometimes and crossing into the box is massive.
Colwell, poor pass. Saka's back onto it, shoots. It hit the head of Caicedo, bounces down for Martinelli, but Sanchez, the shot was straight at him from Martinelli, and Sanchez just stood up, blocked it, bounced back out into the penalty area, and in fact, Chelsea are off on the counter-attack. Gusto playing it forward to Jackson. Jackson now up against Gabriel. Jackson plays it back across to Madueke, edge of the D, left foot shot, hit two defenders, two Arsenal men, and Partey was able to hook it away. Back to Saliba. Still Chelsea with the threat. Madueke plays the ball up into the face of Timber, who's gone down flat on his back, and the referee stopped play because Timber had the ball kicked into his face.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he could have got up. He kind of had a little moment like he was going to get up, and then I think he thought, maybe I can stay down and play might stop because we're under a little bit of pressure here.
I share your suspicion, Matt.
I think he's absolutely fine, and he's back up on his feet already, and there's not really an issue other than the face. You've had a bit of a stinger on the end of your nose, but there's no other issue than that. But the chance a moment ago, John, Martinelli, I mean, it's such a poor finish, isn't it? On his left foot, he's got the whole goal to him. It's got to go low. You've got a massive goalkeeper in Robert Sanchez. He hits it at such a lovely height. All Sanchez done is step out to his left and put his left palm out and blocks it. If he hits it low around his ankles, it's in the back of the net, and a great chance for Arsenal. Should be a goal.
In the Premiership in Scotland, Rangers are about to kick off against Hearts, and I think Celtic have won with you, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, full-time Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2. Celtic return to the top of the Premiership, albeit only on goal difference over Aberdeen. Callum McGregor's 5th of the season, and Nicholas Kuhn's 10th, giving Brendan Rodgers the 3 points he craved. Credit to Kilmarnock, though, for their cavalier style. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2.
Burnley 1, Swansea 0. That's almost over. Chelsea coming forward. Fofana now to Madueke, back to Fofana. Fofana tries to cross it, but the defender was there. In fact, it didn't touch the defender who was coming across. Saliba went straight behind for a goal kick. Almost finished. Burnley 1, Swansea 0. And earlier in the Championship, Hull City 1, West Brom 2. And also Sheffield United winning the derby against Wednesday by 1-0. Tyrese Campbell's goal. So Sheffield United are second in the Championship again, behind Sunderland on goal difference. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Lots to discuss again today on 606 later, with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 5 Live after the wins for Manchester United, Newcastle, and fanfare for Ipswich, winning for the first time since their return to the Premier League. So if you're an Ipswich supporter, I'm sure Chris and Robbie would love to hear from you today. The lines will be open at half-time. We'll let you know. And it is over at Turf Moor, Sani Rudravajala.
Well, United in a time warp. 35-year-old Jay Rodriguez, the match winner, made his Burnley debut 16 years ago. His third spell, 73rd career goal, side-footing a penalty after Matt Grimes' handball. A first win in 5 for Burnley. Burnley 1, Swansea 0.
Arsenal with the ball inside their own half. It is still Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0 on 5 Live. And you can continue to listen to the commentary if you're on your way home, and indeed if you've got a smart speaker, by simply saying to your device, play Radio 5 Live. Here's Partey with the ball inside his own half. Gets it back, and Partey shuffles into the centre circle and then plays it to the right-hand side to Saliba, and he lifts the ball downfield for Ben White, whose touch just took it into the path of Colwell, who was able to knock the ball out of play. That chance that Martinelli had is the best that Arsenal have had yet. Chelsea have had opportunities at the other end, the better of the chances. Here's Saka now trying to manhandle his way past Cucurella, who goes to ground, but the ball was already away and through for a goal kick. Matt Upson.
Yeah, good movement there from Saka, and Ben White nearly got in over the top. Saka just draws Cucurella deeper and inside the pitch, and Ben White on the overlap. Colwill had to come across and deal with it because he just got the run on Neto. And again, those flanks, the interchange with the fullbacks, the wide players dragging fullbacks into positions where they don't want to be, and then the other fullback on the overlap or running inside or outside. There's so much movement going on the pitch. It is a midfield player's dream, to be fair. You've got like the likes of Odegaard and Cole Palmer that could really use that kind of run.
Excellent from Saka there, getting the ball down 15 yards inside the Chelsea half. And even though Cucurella and Lavia were both tight on the Arsenal number 7, he wriggled his way past them. Little foul, so free kick to Arsenal. Groans from the home sections. Still 0-0. Rice plays a quick free kick through into the area. Havertz could be in here and scores! Stabs it past Sanchez. Stuck out a leg, couldn't stop it. The quick free kick. Chelsea are furious about this. They're complaining. I think the suggestion is that either they hadn't heard the whistle, they weren't ready, and a yellow card is shown to Pedro Neto for his protest. But Arsenal celebrate in the corner, and it's the returning Kai Havertz, the man who once scored the biggest goal for Chelsea to win the Champions League for them, has scored for Arsenal against them here at Stamford Bridge. And it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. What an important goal for Mikel Arteta and his team.
Well, it's just really quick thinking from Declan Rice. I mean, Chelsea just switch off. Kai Havertz has allowed the space, and then they react. I think it's Caicedo tries to react, but Havertz does so well. He uses his body. I mean, it's really tight for offside.
It's a VAR check.
Yeah, there's a check going on. It's going to be really, really tight to see if he is offside.
I think that might be offside. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's leaning Kai Havertz. His left shoulder is bang on the 18-yard box line. I mean, just going back to the goal, he used his body so well to let it roll across him, and he just toes the ball into the far corner at full stretch. But that's needing lines, isn't it? That's very. I mean, they've got the line of the 18-yard box as a reference, and for me, that probably just looks a fraction offside.
Do you know? It'd be interesting to hear your view on this as we wait for the decision. And my feeling is that he's just offside, Havertz, when it's played through. And indeed, someone has got a hint. Yeah, they're right. The red line comes up on our side. How did they know before
they quicker? They're not on the Wi-Fi.
They're on a different Wi-Fi. Yeah. Anyway, that Wi-Fi is excellent. And the goal's ruled out, and it's still 0-0. And Kai Havertz was just narrowly offside. But enough. It's the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, there's no arguing it, is there? You draw a line across, as long as the grounding line is in the right spot. You know, the computer does the rest, and it doesn't lie. So it is a fraction offside, which is how it looked to the eye, John, on the still frame, didn't it? It looked a fraction offside, and it's done its job. But Chelsea just switched off for a fraction there, and it was brilliant early thinking from Declan Rice and Kai Havertz.
Yeah, and again, just to tell you, if you're wondering, And you haven't heard us say this before, semi-automated offside is coming. They're still doing all the testing. So while they have it in other areas and other countries, the testing is still going on. But again, once it comes in, that whole process there would have been much, much quicker. So it remains Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. The other thing I was going to say to you, Matt, I've got a feeling that Michael Oliver blew his whistle just after Declan Rice took the free kick.
I've got to be honest, that's what I thought. I think he took it fractionally before the whistle. Yeah.
And I think that's what Chelsea were complaining about.
And I think it was very hard for Michael Oliver to actually determine whether it was before or not. I think that was probably he wasn't too sure, but therefore he's decided to let it go.
It was a bit of an Agatha Christie, wasn't it? When it happened, I knew that there was something
wrong
that wasn't quite right. And I'm pleased that you've backed me up there in an Hercule Poirot style. No, I do agree, and unfortunately Neto gets a yellow card for that, doesn't he? He does. Yeah, that is
all over nothing.
Yeah. As the ball's headed out by Gabriel for a throw into Chelsea 15 yards inside their own half. There's only one player out there who's on a yellow card, or one yellow card away from a suspension. And if you know your Chelsea, you won't be surprised to hear that it's Nicholas Jackson. Here's Sanchez, clears the ball away from inside his penalty area as Madueke is being manhandled by Timber, and it's a free kick on the halfway line. It's a lovely finish though, wasn't it, by Havertz? He's great in those sort of areas.
He's just so rangy, isn't he? Just gets his leg on the end, foot on the end of anything with those long legs, and he's very direct.
Heavy touch from Madueke, so the ball ran into the path of Timber, and as Madueke continued his motion, he tripped Timber. So having been fouled by Timber, he's now fouled Timber himself. Free kick.
He's miles better in those situations, Havertz. Those kind of ones where you've got to wriggle past someone and then a scruffy toe poke, than ones where it's got to be real clinical finishing. Do you know what I mean? He's not that kind of centre forward, is he? But anything that's like a scruffy half chance where he's got to get his body at a tight angle, he finishes really well.
Yep, like the chance he had late on in San Siro the other night, and he hit the defender.
Yep.
So it is still Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. More at half-time, which is less than 10 minutes away on the earlier results. Some notable wins there for Newcastle United after being a goal down against Nottingham Forest. And Chelsea playing the ball out from the back. In fact, Gusto's passed it straight out of play behind Madueke, so a throw into Arsenal. And what a day for Ipswich Town, Kieran McKenna and all, with Ipswich winning at Tottenham, who are now down in 10th place in the Premier League table, and have lost 5 Premier League matches this season out of 11 played now. Rangers Hearts kicked off at 5 o'clock. Gavin Wallace.
And we've no longer played 5 minutes, John. Rangers 1, Hearts 0, and Cyril Dessers managed to get himself on the goal sheet. A lot of criticism his way, but he stepped up to the plate quickly. Ball played across towards the back post, and he taps in. Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
And stay with us if you're an Ipswich Town supporter. Kieran McKenna's going to be on 5 Live at half-time, and Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. Partey's pass through the centre, looking for Havertz. It was blocked by the defender. Then downfield for Chelsea. Raya's come out of his penalty area, and as it was being chased by Jackson, Saliba was there as well, but the Arsenal goalkeeper was able to clear it away. Yes, we heard, didn't we, Vicky? Sparks was talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy looking like he was close to tears at the end of that match, his last one as the interim. The 3-0 win against Leicester. We're going to hear from Ruud van Nistelrooy at half-time as well about, I guess, what the future holds. And for Manchester United, Ruben Amorim is probably already in the country, about to begin his job in the morning. As Neto is pushed over, way down below us in front of Arteta by Ben White. Just sort of stopped him getting to his feet. He looks fired up, Neto, doesn't he, for this, after the yellow card incident?
Yeah, he wasn't happy with Michael Oliver, was he? I think he really felt strongly about the whistle not being blown by the free kick, and certainly demonstrated that to the referee.
Oh, and then Neto and White have clashed off the ball. Cucurella takes it on down the left, and referee Oliver spotted that. It's a yellow card for Ben White. I did wonder there for a moment, because it was significantly off the ball.
Yeah.
Whether that might be a red card offence.
I mean, I was busy looking at Cucurella and Saka. I didn't actually notice that, but was it one of those where he just throws his arm back to block him and not an intentional elbow to the head? I take it, because it's just a yellow card.
That's how Michael Oliver's seen it. The VAR will be having a look at that. By the way, we've got a Premier League Match Centre social media post on the screens in front of us which says Havertz got. Oh, it's gone. I knew that was going to happen.
Too slow with the build-up.
It was ruled out for offside. Cole Palmer to take this free kick. 15 yards inside the Arsenal half. Palmer, he's gone for goal. He's gone for goal from 30-35 yards. He thought Raya was going to race out.
Wow.
And he went for goal, but it drifted well wide and high into the Arsenal fans. And Raya is saying to the Arsenal fans, come on. He's clapping those big hands together and saying, come on, give me the ball back. And they're not. And eventually they have thrown it.
He's got big hands, has he, David Raya?
Yeah.
Is that
We've discussed that before. Biggest hands in football.
Really?
That's what the Sun said. So it must be
gospel.
True. Yeah.
It's gospel then, because he's not the biggest, is he?
His hands are.
You'd expect that Robert Sanchez had bigger hands than David Raya, didn't
Seemingly not.
Yeah.
No, they had the full.
Interesting fact.
They had the full life-size. But you can cut out. Yeah. You can cut out David Raya's hands in the paper.
Well, it helps if you're a goalkeeper, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Here's Chelsea, Caicedo, lovely work from him. It's worked across, and it just ran away from Palmer on the edge of the area, and Ben White came across and was able to block it away.
Well, I'm going to say Cole Palmer's touch just let him down there on the edge of the box. It comes across his body. Normally receive it on his left foot, on his instep, and just set himself for the shot, but it was a little bit loose and it pinged out to the left too much, gave Arsenal a chance to get back in.
Excellent information from George Cummins, our producer and ace interviewer, who tells me that on Mexican television, David Raya is known as Las Manotas, which means big hands. That's the news from Mexico. Here's Gabriel. Gabriel, middle of his half, passes it to his right to Saliba. Still 0-0. Arsenal thought they were in front through the Havertz finish, but Havertz was in an offside position when Rice's quick free kick was taken through to him. This is 5 Live in the World Service on Sports Extra. Scotland, South Africa, with the world champions having a big lead. There is American football, NFL, on Sports Extra tonight from 9 o'clock. It's Dallas against Philadelphia this evening, and Monday Night Club tomorrow, rounding up the last Premier League action for almost a fortnight. Conor Cody is with Mark Chapman and Chris Sutton and Rory Smith tomorrow night from 7 o'clock on 5 Live. Long pass forward from Raya, goes through to the goalkeeper at the other end. It's just kind of tailed off a little bit the first half, hasn't it? A lull. There is a lull.
There is a lull in the play, and I just think it's getting close to half-time. We've obviously had the goal. It's just each team's cancelling each other out. I'm looking at Caicedo. He's constantly trying to check his shoulder. Where's Martin Odegaard? Party with Palmer, and it's up to the centre-backs really, and the full-backs to get a hold of the ball and try and drive it. Declan Rice now on the ball, but Chelsea very well set defensively, and it's just a little bit of a stalemate at the moment.
Remember the last time they played each other in April in the Premier League? That was that 5-0 Arsenal win when Chelsea were terrible.
Yes.
And then that was the last match they lost. They then went on that run under Mauricio Pochettino at the end of last season. So I was surprised to learn that was Arsenal's biggest win against Chelsea, biggest win they'd ever had against Chelsea. Ball deflected out of play down the right. Saka wins the throw against Cucurella. White takes it into Havertz. Scored 2 goals in that 5-0 Kai Havertz, but not scored today yet. Here Timber leaves it for Rice. Rice then slips it through the left-hand side. Martinelli attempts to cross, but Gusto slides in to block it behind. And then the offside flag comes. So no corner. It's a free kick to Chelsea.
Well, Martinelli must have just jumped the gun a little bit with his run. I mean, the pass was on. Rice saw it. Straight pass in between the full-back and the centre-back. Gusto and Fofana had split. Martinelli was in with his left foot to get a crossing, and he just goes a little bit too early.
So a free kick to Chelsea. 90 seconds of the first 45 minutes to play, and Robert Sanchez spins that high-vis ball down onto the pitch and prepares to strike this downfield. Chelsea, who've had those chances, the Palmer shot from distance that was saved, Madueke's header, which was wide from the Neto cross, and then And then Gusto's chance as well, which was probably the best of them, wasn't it? As Chelsea with the ball on the edge of the penalty area with Jackson, who goes down, wins the free kick. And this is being protested by Arsenal. Declan Rice with his hands in the air. And this is a good position here for Chelsea with that man Cole Palmer.
It's a very good position, tailor-made for a left foot. I think it was good play from Jackson. Makes a nuisance of himself, doesn't allow Gabriel to clear the ball, then wins it. Has a couple of touches, and Rice is coming in from the midfield to tackle him one side, Gabriel's the other. I don't think there's a lot of contact, John. It just looked a little bit clumsy, didn't it? It was a bit of the meat in the sandwich.
Yeah, he won that.
He did, and Michael Oliver was right on top of it, and yeah. People bought it.
Yeah, people won't like it.
No,
but actually, probably clever centre forward play.
It was. He won the foul, and he's won a really good situation for his team right before half time.
Yeah, you can understand why Arsenal would have complained. So it's from an angle. It's Palmer who rather tamely shoots into the wall. Didn't seem to be too much build up to that. It's almost as if he tried to catch them out with the quick taking of the free kick and just hit it into the wall.
It's very relaxed, wasn't it?
Very. 3 minutes of added time for various stoppages. We had the injury to Gusto. Now Palmer has just carried the ball away from Arsenal, from Timber. That could be construed as delaying the restart. And a yellow card. Is that not given against Palmer?
Madueke.
It's actually given against Madueke for delaying the restart.
I mean, that is just... What's he doing? I mean, that from him to not know the standing of where this is now, with the controversy we've had this season with stopping the restart, just leave the ball. Any touch of it or any stopping somebody getting to it quickly acts as you stopping the delay of the restart, which is a booking, and what a silly booking to pick up.
Ooh, Declan Rice is onto this now, 25 yards out on the left, but then he's excellently challenged Caicedo, wins it back and then passes it downfield for Jackson, who's very much the lone centre forward for Chelsea. The support arrives now from Madueke, but Jackson's still going, and Jackson running direct at the edge of the penalty area, goes between two Arsenal players, goes down, and it's another free kick to Chelsea, and they're thinking about taking a quick one, and they have not been allowed to by referee Oliver.
Would you say that was another free kick won by Nicholas Jackson? I mean, the replay will be interesting.
Well, before we say it, I think it was a free kick.
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think Martin Odegaard puts his foot out much at all. I think Jackson just falls over.
You're right. You're right. I thought you were being the defender there.
No, it just looked as if...
It just went down.
There's two now Michael Oliver has bought that are not free kicks, and the second one is actually worse than the first one. That one there...
If Chris Sutton's listening to this, he'll be raging about Nicholas Jackson.
There's a gentle brush of the shoulder and bang, he's down. OK, he's running at full tilt, so you don't need too much contact to affect you, but he throws himself on the floor, and Michael Oliver... Like I say, it gives the perception of a foul, but it really isn't.
On 6:06 on 5 Live on a Sunday night, Chris does the simulation game, and Nicholas Jackson's just made a big bid to win it tonight. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Palmer then. Now this is further out, and Palmer's up to it, shoots left footed. That's hit the wall as well. The Arsenal wall very much has done its job. I thought that might be more like him there, but again seemed to rush it a little.
And be very relaxed, quite casual with it.
0-0 is still the score here on this autumnal afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Gloomy greyness all across England at the moment. I heard the weather again this morning. Elizabeth Rizzini was on about this gloom. I feel like every morning I hear Elizabeth Rizzini talking about how gloomy it is. Raya, long pass downfield, over the top of White, and then Neto is in there. Saka dispossessed by Cucurella, and Caicedo, who's having another good game, captain today. Caicedo gives it to Palmer. Now Chelsea are cooking. He has Neto on the left-hand side. Neto across, a little flick by Palmer at the near post, but Partey came across him and just forced him. He couldn't get the contact on it that he wanted, and the ball just bounced harmlessly through really to Raya, and that is the end of a goalless first half, where it's been quite even, but I think Chelsea have had the better opportunities.
Yeah, I would say that. I think it's been very even. I think Arsenal have had a lot of good possession. They look more dominant in terms of time with the ball. Martin Odegaard's made a big difference, but creating chances, I think Chelsea have done brilliant on the counter. Cole Palmer, when he's found that little piece of room and got on the ball and turned on it, it goes wide generally in the direction of Neto, and then they really look like they can create something special, Chelsea, and they're a real threat. So it's going to be an interesting second half, but like you said, John, very, very even game at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a contender for a 0-0, but let's hope not.
Let's hope not, but you're right, it's got potential.
Yeah. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0 at half-time.
Thank you very much, both. We'll be back for second half commentary, obviously, at Stamford Bridge. Let's take you to Murrayfield, Scotland, South Africa. Jamie Lyle.
Scotland 12, South Africa 19 with 50 minutes on the clock. The Boks attacking furiously after seeing Finn Russell bang over his fourth penalty of the afternoon, the only points of the second half so far. Rassie Erasmus, by the way, has just deployed his storied bomb squad, those massive battalion of 7 forwards. He's put 5 of them on en masse, and the Boks attacking, looking for their fourth try here. They're not going to get it just at the moment, but 19 points to 12, they lead Scotland, and the physicality of this game is terrifying.
Earlier it finished Wales 19, Fiji 24. But from Murrayfield to Ibrox, Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, 19 minutes played, Rangers 1, Hearts 0, Cyril Dessers 4th of the season. It was nice actually from Biryami. He managed to find out managed to get the ball in towards Tavernier. It was going goal bound, and then Dessers just there to nick it in and give him the 4th goal of the season. He had another chance, Steve, for a goal. It was 1v1. Hearts defence got their back really quite quickly though, and the lack of pace in Rangers team, which is quite frightening, stopped them from getting anything. The shot ends up going wide, but Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
Thank you, Gavin. Let's rattle through some scores, shall we? So in the early game in Scotland, it finished Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 2. Celtic go top of the table, above Aberdeen on goal difference. They've both got 31 points. If Rangers go on and complete the job against Hearts, they would move up to 22, so still 9 points off the top. In the Women's Super League, finished Liverpool 0, Chelsea 3, Palace 1, Everton 1. West Ham beat Leicester by a goal to 0. There's a 6:45 kickoff. That's Manchester United versus Aston Villa. So Chelsea 6 wins from 6, second in the league, a point below Manchester City, who have 6 wins from 7. In the Championship, Sheffield United beat Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 in the Steel City Derby. Hull 1, West Brom 2, Burnley 1, Swansea 0. All full-time scores. That means the Blades go up to second in the league, Burnley are 4th, and West Brom are back into the top 6 at the expense of Middlesbrough. In the Premier League, Manchester United 3, Leicester 0, Forest 1, Newcastle 3, and Spurs 1, Ipswich 2. Ipswich's first win of the season, which lifts them out of the relegation zone. Reaction to all of that, then second half commentary from Stamford Bridge after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Premier League.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening. Russia and Ukraine have carried out their biggest drone attacks against each other since the start of the war. Ukraine says it shot down or disabled most of the 145 which were launched by Moscow, while Russia says 34 of Kyiv's drones were destroyed. Peter Dickinson is a Ukraine expert at the American think tank, the Atlantic Council.
The fear in Ukraine is that Russia is currently using its drone capabilities and is stockpiling its cruise missiles and its ballistic missiles, which we've not seen much of since early September, in order to launch what many anticipate will be a very major air campaign, a bombardment campaign, in the coming weeks as the temperatures drop.
The Israeli Prime Minister says he and Donald Trump see eye to eye on what he calls the threat posed by Iran. Benjamin Netanyahu says he's spoken to the US President-elect 3 times last week. A man has been killed and 2 people injured in a shooting in southeast London. Police were called just after 10 o'clock this morning to the incident in Sydenham. A woman is among the injured. Police say her condition isn't life-threatening. 4 men have been arrested and nearly 400 kilos of cocaine has been seized after a fishing boat was stopped off the coast of Kent earlier. 3 men on board have been detained on suspicion of importing Class A drugs. A 4th man was arrested in East London. And a blind 100-year-old veteran is described feeling 10 feet tall after taking part in the Remembrance Sunday March past the Cenotaph in London for the first time. Michael Woods, who's from Bedfordshire, was joined by 10,000 former service personnel at the annual National Service of Remembrance.
The Giants of the Southern Hemisphere are in town for the Autumn Nation Series.
This is a pure sporting indulgence.
New Zealand, South Africa and Australia are up against the home nations, and you can follow all the action on 5 Live, Sports Extra and BBC Sounds.
Oh, what a try! What a finish!
Over on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast, we'll bring you the best analysis and cover all the big stories on and off the field. And as ever, we'll be joined by some of the biggest names in the game.
If I didn't try this and we lose, I will never forgive myself.
The Autumn Nation Series and the Rugby Union Weekly. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0 in the Premier League at half-time. Second half commentary on the way. Already today, Ruud van Nistelrooy signed off his stint as interim manager of Manchester United with a 3-0 win over Leicester. Here he is with Rob Schofield.
Ruud, I want to start with what looked like lovely scenes there at the Stretford end. I must say, as an outsider, it looked like goodbye. Was it?
No, it was closing down a period of 4 games that we all knew that we were going to do here as an interim manager, and I think that's close in this way. That's the way I felt it, and I think the communication was clear, is clear, and will be decisions made on the future from now onwards, and that was the situation. I think it was beautiful though.
Well, I was going to say you looked quite emotional, if I may say, and was it very natural? But was it in a way kind of closure for you, considering perhaps how things were when you left here as a player?
I don't know. It was a beautiful moment, and to close this moment and to come back to the club and started working and doing these 4 games and all at home and getting some good results. And some good goals, and some good bits to build on, and then can close it down that period with this. It's special. I mean, it's my dad was here, my son, so it's special moments, and it's vice versa. My feelings are towards them are the same. So it was a fantastic moment.
So no decisions yet. Have you been told when you will be informed?
Well, the communication to me, to myself, and also to other colleagues that are waiting for communication about their futures will be today. So
tonight?
Yeah, I guess so. So when I finish my job here with the press, then I'll go back to my office and see how the night goes.
Very, very interesting. Ruud van Nistelrooy with Rob Schofield. Bruno Fernandes also spoke after the game to Match of the Day, specifically about Alejandro Garnacho's celebration or lack thereof after he scored United's 3rd.
Garner scoring a banger and then doesn't want to celebrate as he should after a goal like that because he feels that lost a little bit of faith from some fans and everything. And I was telling him after the game, there's going to be always people that will moan about when you don't score, when you don't assist, when you don't perform. But it's a lot of people that like you and want you to succeed, and they will enjoy everything you do, even if sometimes things are not going well and you will have some criticism. Just it's always people there that are there for you and pushing you from behind.
Okay, well, that's fascinating as well, isn't it? 08085 909 693. Once we're done at Stamford Bridge, it'll be time for 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Afternoon, Rob.
Afternoon, Stephen.
Where do you want to start there? But with the Garnacho or with Ruud van Nistelrooy?
Well, I think Garnacho, I think Bruno Fernandes there. Great advice, captain's performance from him today. There will be bumps in the road for any player, especially young players. He scored a banger. I love the terminology of scored a banger.
He's been in England a long time when he's saying that.
But yeah, listen, he has scored a worldie today, but he's just got to get on with it. Celebrate goals. It's at Old Trafford, 70-odd thousand fans there. You are going to get criticised, as football players, and, you can't please everybody. So I think that's a good talking point. Good job, Chris doesn't take criticism. He wouldn't be doing 606, especially after his Spurs got beat. And then obviously on Ruud van Nistelrooy, I found out tonight, I think once you've had a taste, I know he was a manager in the Netherlands, and now he's had an interim taste, 4 games. Listen, I'm not being fit. I think I could have won 3 out of those 4, especially being at home. He's had a taste of it. Will he want to stay in a capacity at a club he loves, a club he's a legend at? He's saying his family's in the crowd today. But I think once you've done it and been the main man, do you want to stay and be an assistant? When a new manager's coming in with his new team, it's going to be very, very interesting for me. I think he's does he want to be a manager in his own right and go away from Old Trafford and go and manage somebody? It's a great debate. It's a great debate.
I just think it's really interesting because everything Van Nistelrooy has said in the last week or so have made it sound like he would quite want to stay. But as Rob Schofield asked in his question there, looking at him in front of the Stretford end, he did look quite emotional. And I know we'll find out tonight, but it is interesting.
Well, listen, Steve, as you probably know, we're the only team unbeaten at Macclesfield in the top 248 teams. And if I was to be offered a job in the future, I would take my management team with me.
Yeah.
And if there was somebody in the interim role at that club, would I keep him? Probably not. So I think that's up to Ruben Amorim and his, what he wants really, because he's the incoming manager. So it's down to him what he wants. But if I was in that position, I'd take my team and I would probably say to the interim manager who's been there, whether he's a club legend or not, there's no sentiment from Ruben Amorim. I would probably say, listen, thanks very much, but this is my team and this is what I want to go with.
Just writing that up for the website now, actually. Robbie Savage says, come and get me, Man United. No?
No,
have I read that right? All right.
No.
Thanks, Rob. Have a good one later.
Cheers, mate.
08085 909 693. I'm sure there'll be lots of calls about Ipswich Town as well. Ipswich fans, you got your first win of the season, won 2-1 away at Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna.
Yeah, very, very proud. It's been a long time coming in terms of the football club. So today, isn't just about this season, it's about the journey that the supporters especially have been on for the last 22 years, the ups and the downs. It's for those who've been here the last few years, it's about the journey we've been over the last few years and the climb that we've made to come and to compete in the Premier League, and now to take the step to win in the Premier League is a big one. And then it's about the journey for the group that's come together this season, the mixed group of players who've been here, new players coming in, lots of players finding the feet in the club, lots of players finding the feet in the division, lots of players who've worked their whole careers to get to this point, and that takes time, but we feel like we've been making some good strides. There's been some good work going on. We've been competitive, and we always believed if we stayed on those tracks, then we'll give ourselves a chance to win games. So for it to happen today, for it to be here against a great club and a really good team, it's a brilliant day for us.
I think a lot of people would have looked at the fixture list this weekend and thought, well, this is going to be tough for Ipswich. And particularly given the frustrations last time out against Leicester and the disappointment, all of those things, how did you get that team to perform the way they did today?
No, we looked at it and knew it was going to be tough. We do that every week. But no, today was nothing about Leicester. The last couple of games, Brentford, Leicester, we haven't won. We got 1 point from the two. I think we deserved a lot more. That gave us confidence, to be honest, and energy in the group. Then it's about keeping a strong, consistent mentality in the group day to day, and trusting that you'll get some rewards at the end of it. And it took us a little bit longer to get the win than what we would have wanted, and probably what we would have deserved in a couple of instances. But again, it's a great day to get it today, and it's one for us to cherish.
Kieran McKenna, there'll be a lot of praise or grumble going on in Sheffield in the Steel City tomorrow after Sheffield United beat Sheffield Wednesday by 1-0. We're talking about Alejandro Garnacho's lack of celebration. Chris Wilder celebrated at the full-time whistle like he'd scored the winner. Here he is with Aaron Paul.
Chris, you resemble many a Sheffield United fan right now, beer in hand, the city is red. Just give us your thoughts after that.
That's for the supporters that have had a season of pain last season, to come back to Bramall Lane and enjoy the football. Another win at home is great. The lift that they give us is incredible. We're back to where we are. We have to put our bodies on the line. We have to get round first and second balls, and we have to work our socks off. They're just fundamental aspects of the game that if you want to win games of football, you need to produce. And this team are producing that, and the connection is certainly here with the supporters. One shot on target, Tyrese Campbell's goal. It's all that matters. How proud will his dad have been of that finish? Because it was a proper Kevin Campbell finish, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, listen, he's had a tough time off the pitch. He's had a tough time at his previous club. He's getting the love here now, and he's producing what we all know he can produce. So delighted for him.
That's Chris Wilder. His Sheffield United side are up to second in the Championship. In cricket, England's men won their first T20 against the West Indies overnight. Phil Salt, 103 not out. England won by 8 wickets. Pakistan's men have won a one-day series in Australia for the first time in 22 years. Paul Warings won the Abu Dhabi Championship, finished 24 under, 2 shots clear of Tyrrell Hatton. And Mark Cavendish, the most successful sprinter in cycling history, has had the perfect end to his amazing career, winning the Tour de France Criterium in Singapore. 5 Sports Extra right now for Scotland 12, South Africa 19 in the Autumn Rugby International, but the teams are taking the field at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, second half commentary with Matt Upson and John Murray.
Yes, the Arsenal team very quietly made their way out onto the pitch here at Stamford Bridge, and now the Chelsea players emerge from the tunnel, being warmly applauded by the fans in the main stand here. I must just mention, Steve referred to the fact that Paul Waring won the Abu Dhabi Championship. 5 Live listeners who listen to our golf coverage will have heard Paul many times in recent years, and what a brilliant win that was for him. So very many congratulations to Paul Waring for winning the Abu Dhabi Championship. Here in the Premier League, we're about to get underway. Matthew Upson sitting alongside England World Cup defender. 0-0 at the start of the second half. How confident would you be that we're going to see a goal or two?
Not massively confident. It's got a feel of the 0-0 potential in a very competitive game, but the other part of me feels like there are so many top quality attacking players on this pitch that surely at some point we may well see the ball hit the back of the net.
Cole Palmer gets the first touch of the second half as Chelsea kick off, plays the ball all the way back to Sanchez and then forward, and a throw-in is won halfway inside the Arsenal half. The teams are as they were at the start of the match, so Chelsea, completely different team from midweek again. Sanchez in goal, Gusto, Fofana, Colwill and Cucurella, with James on the bench, Caicedo and Lavia, Madueke, Palmer, Neto and Jackson. And here is Palmer down the left for Chelsea, swings over the cross, but the diving David Raya, jumping out beyond his 6-yard box, makes a catch, a spectacular catch for Arsenal. And the Chelsea team and the Arsenal team, Raya in goal, as you'll have gathered. White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, both Rice and Odegaard pass fit to play and resume their midfield partnership with Thomas Partey, and then Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Havertz through the middle. Havertz had the ball in the net in the first half, but it was correctly ruled out for offside, and Martinelli had a big opportunity as well, but shot straight at the Chelsea goalkeeper, while Chelsea had good chances for Madueke and Gusto. But it remains 0-0 with the second half underway. The Arsenal fans in their 2 sections in the shed stand to our left, and their team in the red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts and red socks in possession halfway inside their own half in front of the Matthew Harding end. Long pass forward from Raya up towards Havertz, who was very closely watched by Fofana. Fofana manages to win the ball, pass it to Neto, then it was headed forward by Saliba. Cucurella turns, volleys it to the halfway line. Pedro Neto, Chelsea's still relatively new number 7, gets onto the ball. Palmer's over there with him. Palmer towards the left-hand side. Neto makes a run down the line, receives it from Palmer, who slipped the pass forward to the Portuguese. Neto trying to find a position to cross. It goes from Portugal to Spain, from Neto back to Cucurella, and now into the centre circle, and Chelsea changed the point of attack to Gusto. Now here's Madueke with his heels on the white line on the right-hand side, but now moving into the full-back position. Madueke's cross to the near post is plucked out of the air by David Raya, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just delayed it a little bit there, Madueke. Got his head up, was waiting to see the movement of a blue shirt in the box. It didn't really make his mind up for him, so he just dinks it in, and Raya comfortably catches.
Caicedo forward of the centre circle, picks out the pass to Neto, and then back it comes into the central third. Enzo Maresca, the Chelsea coach, points the way forward for his team. Enzo Maresca in his first season here, still very early days for him, just his 18th match in all competitions, and the only defeats in the Premier League have been against the top 2, against Manchester City and Liverpool. Here's Madueke again on the right-hand side. Madueke, 2 men, drifts infield, goes for a left foot shot, but he blazes it high, very wide, and lands halfway up the lower tier of the Matthew Harding stand for a goal kick. So still 0-0 here. The choice of listening right now is the Autumn International between Scotland and South Africa at Murrayfield, and the latest score is, Jamie Lyle?
Scotland 15, South Africa 19. They've spent the past few minutes pummeling the world champions, slashing runs from Tom Jordan and Hugh Jones. They just can't cross the try line. They had to settle for a 5th Finn Russell penalty. They're back within touching distance, back within a score margin. 16.5 minutes to play here. 4 points between the Scots and the back-to-back world champs.
Commentary on Sports Extra on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds. All live BBC radio is there. Excellent combination between Saka and Odegaard on the right. Saka now plays it infield. Rice more central. Martinelli. Madueke is back there against him. Martinelli's cross, right-footed, goes all the way through. Beyond, well, over the heads of most of the players in the box, and then beyond the run of White goal kick.
Teasing in swinging delivery from Martinelli on his right foot. Ben White trying to arrive at the back post there. It goes over everyone's head and he's free at the back post, but he just can't get there early enough. I mean, it came around from a brilliant duel with Cucurella and Saka. I mean, the physicality there, John, in terms of the speed and the shift of direction between both of them. Saka, who's electric, and Cucurella really scampering away, trying to get tight to him. It's a really interesting battle, that one. It's going to unravel in this second half, you feel.
Short pass from Timber. Gusto was in, but Gusto's touch took it out of play for a throw to Arsenal down the left-hand side. So Timber to take this, the left back. Thought about the long throw, but in the end just goes back towards the halfway line, where Gabriel has the ball. Gabriel, who will be away with Brazil in the next couple of weeks for their latest World Cup qualifiers. I noticed that Murillo, who scored for Nottingham Forest today, is in the Brazil squad now, as well as
he's
a
had a great
defender.
season, hasn't he?
He has, and last season too. Martinelli now teasing his way infield. Martinelli with a shot, but excellent defending from Fofana to block the shot right at source. And now Chelsea are off on the counter-attack with Madueke. Madueke uses Jackson to his right. Jackson in the wider position, but checks back. And there's groans there that Jackson didn't go on and try and expose Arsenal. Now Arsenal are right back in possession. Two Banks.
You got excited there, John, in terms of the play was going to go on, and then Jackson just decides to turn away and slow it all down again. Arsenal back in position.
I reserve the right to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was getting a little bit excited in thinking that he's going to take him on, but he just opted not to for whatever reason. I don't know, but just go at him at that position. You know, as a defender, you don't want to be put in that position where a centre-forward is driving at you with the ball, and that's always much more difficult to deal with.
And here's Palmer showing him how to do it. He runs at Arsenal into the penalty area, wins a corner.
But that's the difference of that kind of positivity, that directness. Cole Palmer, you know, bubbling with confidence. He'll do that all day. That's natural in his system to be aggressive and positive with his decision-making.
Palmer, in this match last season, when it finished 2-2, Palmer scored his first goal here at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea. Poor corner though from Palmer, set him up there, but it was easily headed away at the near post, and then Chelsea went all the way back to Sanchez inside his own half, hence the groans that you heard there. Here's Gusto, then to Jackson, who just helps it out to the right hand side. That's where Madueke is. Madueke, that's a good looking ball, and it's stabbed up and over by Fofana, who was still in there. A stretch, an almost Haaland-like stretch with his right leg, but could only direct it up and over the crossbar.
It's another cross, John, isn't it? I mean, the game has been filled with deliveries into the box from wide. You feel like that if there is going to be a goal, it's going to come from a cross, and it's a lovely in-swinger left foot. Madueke, tough one to keep down for Fofana. Is it full stretch? It's like a karate kick in the air, isn't it?
Haaland-like,
very Haaland-like.
It was hi-ya time. And that would have been a wonderful goal for a central defender.
Yeah, it would.
As a former central defender, I don't recall you ever scoring one quite like that.
Be correct.
Yes,
I'm not sure if I could get me the
old
right leg up that high. The hamstring was not allowing that, John.
No. I thought you were going to go all...
No, I wasn't. I won't mention your No, we'll leave that one.
Yeah, long-time listeners will, I think, understand that one. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, as Rice plays it forward, but it's headed away by Fofana. Chelsea with it inside their own half. So back to Murrayfield, Jamie Lyle.
South Africa just keeping Scotland at arm's length at the moment. Handré Pollard kicking another penalty for the world champions. They lead by 22 points to 15. Scotland still battering hard, possession inside the box 22, but their first try of the night still proving elusive with 12 minutes to play.
Pedro Neto on the left-hand side. He's a real live wire, isn't it? Every time he gets the ball, you think that something's going to happen. Palmer gives it to him. Here is little Pedro Neto again, takes on the defender. Left-footed cross, but that's over everyone. It's not happening this time. comes out to Caicedo, who plays it back to Gusto, and then back into centre field.
Arsenal sat off a little bit start the second half, haven't they? Not been quite as high in terms of their press. Chelsea having the majority of the ball. I mean, most of this second half's been played in the Arsenal half, with Arsenal sat 5 yards outside their 18-yard box.
Back to Neto again on the left-hand side. Then Cucurella infield to Lavia. Lavia's pass, that's a good ball. Gusto's shot actually hit the defender. Gabriel inside the penalty area. Madueke though wins it, a duel with Martinelli, and then Madueke trying to find Neto, backing away, brings it down, crosses, hits the defender, bounces to Palmer. Palmer's cross, it's a loopy one, and it's caught by Raya. But the Chelsea supporters are saying that I think Timber shoved over Gusto as Raya was looking to catch the ball.
Yeah, Gusto was kind of laying in a heap on the floor, and I think when he's realised he's not going to get a foul, he's back up and sprinting now, and he's got back into position, but I didn't really see what the contact was.
They'll have a look. Martinelli's done well, he's beaten Madueke. At the other end, Martinelli's cross is easily reached first by Cucurella, who as he tried to clear it out. And what's Cucurella? Cucurella's complaining about something to referee Oliver. The ball's bounced out of play. The referee has Michael Oliver's now walking down into the full-back area.
I'm not quite sure.
Kai Havertz is there. It's out of play for a throw for Arsenal.
I don't know what Cucurella was discussing with Michael Oliver. He was very animated and pointing, and the hair was bouncing around.
Havertz has now gone down onto one knee and has stood up. Oh, there's blood apparently. He's got blood on him, Havertz. A yellow card. I think he's right. Michael Oliver has told Havertz to leave the field, and Havertz wasn't going to leave the field. That's why he went down onto one knee.
He's just opened up the cut from Wednesday night.
That's the cut from the other
night? I think he's just opened it. He's just caught it, probably heading the ball. You know, when you've got a couple of stitches in it, they'll have it sealed up nicely, but you know when the ball hits it and it just kind of skims across your head, you can easily just open it up. It's exactly the same spot, John. Yeah,
we can see now on our little screen here, he's got a bandage or a cloth against his head. It's in exactly the same area where Timber went to take the throw. Timber went to take the throw, then decided not to. The ball fell out of his hands behind his back, and I don't think it ever actually entered the field of play. So Chelsea fans are enraged because Michael Oliver has said, yeah, it's still an Arsenal throw. But rather comically, Timber wasn't sure where the ball had gone.
I think he accidentally slipped out his hands. Then he went to throw it and it just slipped through the fingers.
He does take the throw successfully this time to Odegaard, but it's very congested down there. This has very much got the feel of a 0-0. Here's Martinelli. Martinelli just teasing the ball with his right foot. But Matt Upson is absolutely right. There's enough talent out there to come up with something special to break the deadlock. But not here, as Caicedo is nudging Timber off the field, and Timber goes down like the proverbial.
I mean, Arsenal need to get Havertz back on the field. I mean, he's still getting some attention on the touchline there. He's not back on the field of play, but I think they're patching him up with a bandage, aren't they?
Yeah, there's not a lot of sympathy for the former Chelsea striker, as he's waiting to come back onto the field. Arsenal. As then Gabriel is upended by Jackson, and this is down on the side of the pitch near where Havertz is allowed to come back onto the field, and it's another free kick to Arsenal this time.
And he's got a black strapping, hasn't he, around his head just to protect, which you would think he may well have started the game with anyway, John. Do you know what I mean? Just to take the edge off that happening. But he's now wearing like a black tape around the top of his forehead.
So, yeah, it's a sort of Raúl Jimenez style headband that he's got on. Kai Havertz back on the field. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. As you've gathered, not a right lot happening at the moment in this match, but a set piece for Arsenal. The Declan Rice with the broken toe is playing in now. He's got too much on that, and it just lands in the gloves of Sanchez. Even though a Chelsea player has fallen over on the edge of the box, Chelsea are back in possession, and it remains 0-0. Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693. or hashtag BBC 606 if you want to get in touch that way on social media, or you can book a call via text on 85058. Chris and Robbie, after everything that's happened today, up and down the leagues, up and down the country, plenty to talk about. Odegaard slipping the ball forward towards Havertz. Havertz now, who checks back against Cucurella, gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard on the edge of the area, works it square to Partey, who turns away from Lavia. Odegaard again, lovely cross towards the back post. Martinelli gets it down and scores! He beats Sanchez at his near post. The goalkeeper caught out. There's no offside flag. Chelsea are looking for it, but Arsenal are able to celebrate in front of their supporters. And Gabriel Martinelli has made it Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. Big goal for Arsenal.
Well, I think this is going to be a very tight offside again. It's Martin Odegaard with the pass. I mean, it's lovely work from Havertz to hold the ball up. How he manoeuvred it, such good footwork just to get away from the defender, offloads it to Martin Odegaard, just cuts inside on his left foot. He sees a couple of red Arsenal shirts at the back post and he puts a lovely left-footed dink. I mean, it looked really tight because Martinelli was arriving at the back post and he had such a tight angle, didn't he? He brought it under control and then managed to slip it between the near post and Robert Sanchez, who maybe should block that area off. But it's a lovely ball from Odegaard. It looks like Levi Colwell's just going to play them all onside. It looks good to me. And Sanchez beaten at his near post. For me, the goalkeeper, he should cut that angle off, but it's a quick finish from Martinelli with his right foot, and he just whips it into that near post space.
Well, everyone said, we said, it'll be different when Odegaard is back in the team. He will bring back the creativity that Arsenal have missed in the opposing defensive third, and that's exactly what he's brought. Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, it's instant, isn't it? Back in the team, first start. It's been noticeable, certainly the first 15 minutes, how Arsenal played with the ball, more confident, more controlled in possession. They've dropped off a bit this second half and just decided to defend a little bit deeper, be difficult. But then he comes up with that lovely little moment that no one else in that team really does with their left foot like him, in terms of how they pick players out from that position. It's absolutely superb, and it's been the creator for this goal for Arsenal. And we have a goal, John. We don't need to talk about this 0-0 nonsense anymore.
No, that is consigned to the history books as Chelsea go all the way back to Sanchez. I heard Robbie Savage actually talking about Sanchez on 606 last Sunday evening when he conceded the penalty at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And there we are. As a goalkeeper at this level, you know, he will feel that he should have done better there, I'm sure, as Neto shoves over White, and it's a free kick to Arsenal. And Gabriel Martinelli there, after 6 matches without a goal for Arsenal, last scored in the win against Southampton. There he is, back in the goals with his 3rd of the season. So 1-0 to Arsenal here, and we'll take you from London to Glasgow again to Gavin Wallace,
where it's 1-0 to Rangers at half-time. John, Cyril Desser's 4th league goal of the season is the difference between the two. Bariami picked up a nice pass, played through Tavernier. His shot was then tapped in at the back post by Cyril Dessers. Hearts have had some good chances, but not threatening too much. Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
And from Glasgow to Edinburgh, and Jamie Lyle.
South Africa pulling away here, 25 points to 15. Another penalty from Henry Pollard, one at scrum time. Yet again, the 3rd in a row by the fabled bomb squad. With 5 minutes to play, Scotland must score twice to pull this from the fire.
And Bukayo Saka here at Stamford Bridge has won quite a cheap corner against Levi Colwell, corner to Arsenal.
Physically, it's been a top performance from him, I have to say. I mean, it's been a very physical game in terms of shoulder to shoulders, battling for the ball. And every time he's nearly coming out on top, John. How he's won that corner is exceptional.
Look what's happening here. Michael Oliver is actually holding his arms in the air and pointing to his wrist, because it's a corner to Arsenal. Saka was almost next to the corner flag when he won it. Saka then ran away from it. They made it look as though Odegaard was going to take it. Then they changed their mind, and then Saka's gone over to where he was in the first place to take the corner. So this is Arsenal doing what they're becoming quite famous for, using all of the game management tactics. Saka will then take the corner underneath the crossbar. Sanchez punches it away. It's worked back across, and it falls to Cucurella, who's able to clear it. It's actually Gabriel who blasted it across the crowded penalty area. Could have gone anywhere from there, but Chelsea survived that one.
Yeah, Sanchez not getting the cleanest of touches. I mean, it was a difficult ball to deal with, in fairness to him, and he got there, he got his hand on it, but the ball had no clearance out of the box. It kind of looped up in the air, and Gabriel, he just makes himself such a nuisance, doesn't he? If he's not winning that first initial header, anything dropped down there second, he just hooks a foot on it, a head, a knee, anything, he just gets on the ball and just keeps it alive.
Yeah, so effective in the opposition penalty area, the Brazilian central defender. Gusto wins a free kick against Declan Rice, taken square. So Chelsea now having to come from behind. Chelsea, who have not kept a clean sheet at home in the Premier League yet this season. Here's Madueke down to the byline, crosses it over towards the penalty spot. Partey's underneath that, just puts his foot through it, almost clears it up to our eye level, and we're very, very high here in the West Stand at Stamford Bridge, and Gusto passes it back towards the edge of the penalty area. This will be big for Arsenal if they're able to win this, and in fact Chelsea have lost possession at the back, and Odegaard is onto this, into the area on the right hand side, change of feet, then he shoots into Colwell. It was a sort of shot come cross from the Arsenal captain, and it bounces down for Colwell to clear it, but he's given it back to Arsenal again. More grums from the home supporters. They're going through a difficult spell here, Chelsea, in this match. I suspect that Enzo Maresca will be thinking about a change, but Kimber goes on a weaving run to the edge of the area and shoots wide by a couple of yards.
Wow, what a run from Timber. I mean, he dropped a shoulder, a shimmy, goes past Madueke, drives into midfield, past two or three players coming inside. And I think at that moment, John, he's on such a good run, he's going to shoot no matter what. Whereas really, Saka has just pulled off, asking for the ball, maybe just offload it. But when you've done that well to get in that position, you feel like a shot at the end of it is the only worthy outcome, and he just misses the target by a couple of metres. It never really troubles Sanchez.
Well, Matt, I think there's some movement out of our sight down there, because Enzo Maresca is looking back at the bench and Lavia has gone down, so it looks as though Enzo Fernandez perhaps is the one who's going to come on to replace him. And also
looks like Mudryk being called back.
Yeah, Mikhailo Mudryk has been called over. Yeah. I mean, there's such an array of choice, isn't there, for him?
It's a sweet trolley, isn't it?
It is the proverbial sweet trolley, the old Brian Butler phrase. A veritable international sweet trolley of a football team. So João Felix is there. It's his birthday today as well. He could get something off the sweet trolley for his birthday. Christopher Nkunku, the top scorer for Chelsea this season with 10 goals. So that is, but it's Mudryk who's being chosen. He did score the other night against Noah.
Yeah, I mean, who didn't? It was a bit of a landslide, wasn't it? And Chelsea obviously way too good, but it's interesting to see who is going to bring off. Obviously, is that Lavia?
Yeah, Lavia's off.
Yeah,
he's able to trot off the field, which is always a worry with him with his recent injury history. So he's off. Enzo Fernandez comes on, the World Cup winner.
And then Madueke.
No, not in Madueke. Well, I suppose it had to be either Neto or Madueke for Mudryk, you would have thought. So that means that Neto is switching flanks.
Yeah, Madueke doesn't look too happy coming off the pitch. I mean, shouldn't feel happy that you're being subbed, but you can tell he felt like he wanted to do more in the game, and I think Neto has just come over to his position on the right-hand side. Timber very close to him at the moment on this near side. And Mudryk has gone right over with his heels on the chalk on Chelsea's left, so it'll be Ben White that he'll be up against, and it's an interesting switch from Maresca, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, there's always that bit of history, isn't there, with Mudryk and Arsenal. Arsenal thought they'd signed him and then were gazumped, weren't they, by Chelsea. Yeah. Arsenal are winning 1-0. Fofana's carrying the ball downfield and he's leaned into and goes to ground with Havertz, the man who gives away the free kick. Havertz, who has been yellow carded.
I'm not sure about that foul either, to be honest. I think Fofana's running at full tilt. Havertz comes across. There didn't appear to be too much contact. I mean, we're getting the benefit of a replay now. I mean, he's driving quickly with the ball and he just falls over Fofana for me. I think Havertz has a right to get alongside him and wins the free kick.
There are plenty of defenders back. We're into the last quarter of the match now. Arsenal winning through the Martinelli goal. Free kick, Enzo Fernandez to take this one. The newly arrived Enzo Fernandez off the head of Saliba. Lovely first time pass from Palmer. Let hit the defender. Palmer again, right-footed, hooked across the goal. Might bounce out to Gusto. In fact, he's touched it back to Neto, and then Neto's shot took a deflection which carried it wide by almost 15 yards. But it's a corner to Chelsea. Mudryk is over there to take it short, which he does. And then the cross from the left is over everyone in a blue Chelsea shirt. Bounces out into the full-back position where Gusto returns it towards Caicedo, who will go infield. Pedro Neto is there on the halfway line. The home supporters, the Chelsea fans here. The noise coming out of the Matthew Harding stand as Chelsea attack towards it. Neto with a low shot in! Brilliant finish on the left foot. Enzo Fernandez found Neto in space, and my goodness, he took advantage of that. So quick, so sharp. Chelsea won, Arsenal won.
Wow, what a goal, what a hit, what a move from Pedro Neto. He makes it happen. It's a brilliant move. I was watching him. He starts on this near side wide and he just sees the whole of space in front of the centre-backs. He just makes a nice steady run into it. Is spotted by his teammate, the ball's fed into him, and Arsenal just don't get out quick enough. I don't think they expect the directness of what this player can bring. He's so positive and aggressive with his decision making, and the finish with his left foot, the moment he comes inside, it's on his left foot, he hits it low, across, almost to the near post, but it's got a lovely drag to it. He's zipping along the wet turf of Stamford Bridge with real power. David Raya dives to his left, gets low, but the ball just fizzes past him in a flash. It's a brilliant hit from Neto. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, super goal that. And a lovely pass from Enzo Fernandez as well, who just found the space, didn't
into his path. It was inviting him. I mean, he made the run, and it was a lovely weighted pass just to say, go on then, try it, have a go. And Arsenal don't get out. Partey's a little bit slow getting out to the ball, but boy, does he take advantage. Brilliant hit from Neto.
His first Premier League goal for Chelsea. This summer arrival for over £50 million after the excellent years of service that he gave to Wolves with the various injuries that he had as well. But as we've been saying throughout the match, he's such an exciting player, and it packed a punch, that shot, didn't it, from 22, 23 yards out. Arsenal have made a change. Mikel Arteta has taken off Rice and goal scorer Martinelli and brought on Trossard and Merino as well. Mikel Merino is on. So with the noise ringing around Stamford Bridge, Chelsea won, Arsenal won. We have 20 minutes to play as Trossard now curls it in towards the edge of the area, but that's headed away by Fofana. Comes out for Arsenal again. White goes to the right-hand side. Going to go to Murrayfield in a moment. The final whistle has gone there on South Africa's victory. Odegaard. Arsenal pegged back by Chelsea as Partey gives it over there to Saka's ball into the box. It's gone a long way, all the way through. Merino, middle of the goal. He got his feet caught together. He couldn't get the shot that he wanted, and in that moment of hesitation, it was beyond him, passed through, goal kick.
Any contact, any touch on this ball, fizzed in by Saka. Just a touch. He's a fraction too late, Merino. As the ball bounces off the turf, it skips in front of him. He just can't get a touch on it. Anything would have done just to see it past Sanchez.
Goal kick Chelsea, 1-1 the score. So come in with the full-time news, Jamie Lyle.
Scotland 15, South Africa 32. The Springboks suffocating, squeezing the last remaining life out of Scottish lungs at the death. Jasper Wiese with a pushover try. 4 tries to 0 the Boks have mustered against their hosts. In the end, a 17-point defeat feels cruel on Scotland. It feels harsh given the way this game transpired, but that is why South Africa are world champions and reclaiming top spot in the World Rugby rankings. 15:32 full time.
Thank you, Jamie. We'll have commentary next weekend on England against South Africa. That'll be on 5 Live. Saka down the right-hand side. It's 1-1. Saka returns it to Odegaard. Odegaard left-footed curler into the penalty area where it's headed goalwards by Marino, and stretching in. Havertz couldn't get a touch in the 6-yard box, and it bounced through to Sanchez, the goalkeeper.
Well, it's the same position that Odegaard gets the ball, crosses it to the back. It's Marino with the header down. I think Havertz was in an offside position had he got a touch on it. I think the flag was going to go up, but the game really has opened up, John, hasn't it? I mean, you feel at the moment there is going to be a winner in this football match. I mean, both sides looking dangerous, and anything could happen in this last 17 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'm surprised you were so adamant it was going to be 0-0.
You were the voice of doom bringing that up most of the time.
I confess.
I did agree, partially. It had potential, but yeah, that's history.
Yeah, can't be right all the time. Chelsea 1, Arsenal. Here's one for Havertz as it bounces forward, but he can't get the ball under control, and it's through for a goal kick. So the lines are open for 606 on 5 Live, the UK's most popular football phone in. 08085 909 693 as Sanchez clears from the 6-yard box. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage waiting for your calls. Here's the Chelsea goal scorer Neto. Gusto plays it over the top. Jackson is away, might be offside. Jackson though tucks it away, and then the offside flag comes, and the goal will not stand. And I think he was by 2 or 3 yards.
Considerable, wasn't it? I mean, it was one of those where the flag probably could have gone up. I mean, I suppose the assistant referee just doing what is the right thing, but if they're very confident that it's an offside, then, which that is, I mean, that's glaring. For me, the flag should go up, and it shouldn't allow play to go on there.
Tucked it away nicely though, however, it doesn't stand. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. So yes, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton standing by to take your calls. And I know he was laughing about it, Robbie, at half-time. I was mentioning it yesterday, but he referred to it. Now, in the football pyramid of the top 248 teams, the only side that's unbeaten in the league this season in the English pyramid is Robbie's Macclesfield, which I think that is quite a notable fact. That
obviously got well drilled.
Yeah, so you might want to talk to him about that tonight. I think you'd be pushing at an open door. However, it's a real feather in his cap as Marino passes the ball straight out of play for a throw into Chelsea halfway inside their own half. So all of the analysis of the weekend, Monday Night Club, but also 5 Live Football Daily Podcast in the morning. You can subscribe from BBC Sounds, all the podcasts there. You'll never beat Kyle Walker. The new football, the Planet Premier League, where Graham Potter is there this weekend, former Chelsea man. Here is Neto cutting in from the right-hand side. That's blocked by Marino, and then there's a foul in centre field on Havertz. Colwell puts his hands on his head and backs away, open-mouthed, as though the greatest injustice has just been served against him.
I do love that reaction of Cole. He does that a lot, and it's always the hands on the head and the open mouth, as if to say, "What? Are you joking?" And it was a soft foul, shall we say. He may have an argument in his reaction, but nonetheless Michael Oliver gave it.
Quite continental.
Yes.
Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1, or what we used to consider to be quite continental.
Yeah.
Here's Odegaard, couldn't find the pass through. Cucurella was able to cut that out, and back it goes to Sanchez. So we're into the last 15 minutes. And this is a big 15 minutes in the context of these two clubs' seasons. If one or the other is able to squeeze a winner out of this, that club will be third going into the international window. It's been given away by Partey. And now Gusto coming forward and giving it to Jackson, who drives it across the penalty area, but there's no one there. Palmer was the closest to getting there, and he still wasn't anywhere near it. And I thought that was a foul on Marino, but Arsenal retain possession, so the free kick is not given.
He does the right thing there though, Jackson, for me, just crossing it. He hadn't had time to get his head up, but you put it in that area, then you've done your job. And if people aren't arriving or up with play, then that's up to them. But he puts a good ball, goes all the way across the 6-yard box line.
Still 1-1. Cucurella's in there. I think that was a foul on the far side on Saka by Cucurella, but Arsenal still with the advantage. Odegaard, now Trossard into the area, but defenders were there, two of them. Both Gusto and Caicedo managed to perform the block on the Trossard shot. Trossard, who's come on for Martinelli, so is playing on the left-hand side. He's played a lot centrally in recent times. But with Odegaard back in the team, here is Saka. Saka taking on Cucurella, going past him, getting the cross into the near post where Sanchez was very nearly caught out at his near post again, but was able to grab the ball and bounce it down and catch it.
His positioning was a bit bizarre, wasn't it? He really gambled on the cross from Saka, and I think he did intend to cross it with his right foot, but
Saka has had to sit down.
Yeah, that's not great news. I mean, he's been exceptional in this game, Saka, in terms of the physicality in his 1v1s. He's given Cucurella a really difficult match to handle. Comes inside, went on the outside that time, and like I said, the cross could have easily gone into the near post if Sanchez didn't have such long arms in terms of reacting to it. He certainly edged a little bit too far, too quick.
Yeah, well, this is a worry, obviously, for Arsenal, but also for England, with the matches against Greece and Republic of Ireland coming up. Cucurella is having a right discussion with the assistant on the far side about something or other, probably one of those clashes with Saka, who is sitting down and receiving treatment.
He just kicks him, Cucurella. Saka gets the touch on the ball and lays it inside, and Cucurella arrives very late and just catches him. I don't know if it's from that contact that he has a problem, because obviously he's been up on his feet since, but he's feeling something, Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to go on. No, he's not. No. Gabriel Jesus is coming on, so this has to raise a question over whether he'll be available for Lee Carsley's final two matches as the interim. Cucurella was yellow carded, by the way, for that challenge.
It looked like a yellow card.
That. Yeah, but it was, wasn't it? It should have been, and it was.
I watched the replay of it. I saw it live and then watched the replay, and I thought that must have been a yellow. I didn't see him, Michael Oliver, hand the yellow, show Cucurella the yellow card, but it certainly looked that kind of tackle.
So Gabriel Jesus comes on for another substitute appearance for him, which has rather become his role, hasn't it, at the moment for Arsenal. And play resumes. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. This time next week you and I will be at Wembley, won't we?
Yes.
5 o'clock kickoff on the Sunday afternoon. Republic of Ireland coming to Wembley. Clinton Morrison will be with us as well for that one.
Look forward to that.
Former Republic of Ireland international. Yeah, so that's next Sunday. Friday night, Scotland, Croatia live from Glasgow. Thursday night, we'll be in Athens, live from Athens, Greece against England. 5 Live, the place to hear that. But here in the Premier League, 1-1 between these two London giants. And Chelsea winning a free kick. Palmer wanted to take it quickly, but the referee says no, because there's going to be another change made. And it is Gusto who is going to be replaced by the Chelsea club captain, Reece James. There was a little bit of discussion about whether Reece James might have been back in the England squad this week, but he is still really only just coming back after his hamstring problems. This is going to be only his 4th appearance of this season, and on he comes, and he is given the captain's armband by Caicedo.
He goes straight over to him, Caicedo, and just hands Reece James the armband. He's slotted into the right back position, backing up Pedro Neto.
As Chelsea play it back to goalkeeper Sanchez. Across to Colwell, forward from him to Palmer, still inside his own half. Palmer turns, lovely balance, plays it through to Mudryk. Goalkeeper comes out, Ryan gets there just ahead of the speedy Mudryk. That was risky, but he got there, he just got there, Raya, and showed an excellent turn of pace himself to do so. Jesus loses the ball, or he's dispossessed, shall we say, by Chelsea. Enzo Fernandez, square, Caicedo lifts a pass. That's asking a bit of Neto, but he does get there. He's got a white smudge on the back of his blue shorts. Neto turns against Timber, then gives it into James, whose low cross is easily cleared away by Gabriel. Comes out to Caicedo. Havertz went down under James's challenge. Then Enzo Fernandez through, it's deflected. Gabriel heads it up in the air. Raya comes through, doesn't make it. Jackson's header, but he couldn't get any power on it in the position that he was in, and just headed it straight at the recovering Raya.
Yeah, difficult for Gabriel there. The ball spinning up in there. He's backpedaling. You've got to try and get distance on the header. It's almost impossible. little bit of confusion, I think, with David Raya. They had a little discussion after. I'm not sure if Raya really opened his mouth loud enough to come and claim that ball, got in the way. Unfortunately, it was a difficult chance for Jackson to get any kind of power on, and like you said, John, it was comfortably gobbled up by the big hands of David Raya.
Yeah. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. If you're on the move, you can carry on listening via BBC Sounds. You can pause, rewind the live radio, listen again to the commentaries. If you're a Brighton fan, you might want to go back, look for stations and schedules and have a listen to how it all happened in the second half yesterday. Ball played forward by Timber, then there's a foul on Marino from behind, and Caicedo just walks away as if butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, and it's a free kick to Arsenal.
And he just boot through the back of Marino there. It's not the best of tackles.
He's not been yellow carded, has he?
No, he
Caicedo?
hasn't. I mean, he's landed a few players on the floor. I mean,
how's he managed to get away with that?
I don't know. I think of the one where he clatters into Martin Odegaard, and then that tackle there. There's been a couple of others as well that you'd think by now, with the totting up, there would be possibly a yellow card.
Michael Oliver has been quite restrained, hasn't he?
Yeah,
it's
he
been
has.
no Anthony Taylor. Free kick. Odegaard. Oh, that's a good delivery, but it's headed away by Chelsea just inside the box. What a ball that was. And well defended by Chelsea, and actually the offside flag goes up, so it's a free kick to the home side.
Well, Arsenal start offside on these wide free kicks, and they're all very well drilled, they're all very well in unison, and they come along, they duck in, and then they try and get a block on the Chelsea player to stop them getting the right side of them. But it's so hard to get back on side that so often they do get caught offside just on that initial ball in, and that was the case that time.
Yeah, 1-1. Start offside. Made me think of the Alex Ferguson quote about Felipe Inzaghi, wasn't it? He said he's a player who's born offside. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Latest on Rangers Hearts from Gavin Wallace.
Well, Hearts would have wished they could use BBC Sounds to rewind the chance they had 30 seconds in. Kenneth Vargas was slipped in by Lawrence Shanklin, and his shot hit the post, John. It was a great effort, but it remains Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
Yes, it's very good BBC Sounds, Gavin, but I'm not sure it can do that. Caicedo hits the pass forward, but it runs all the way through, and Raya has got the ball at the back. 1-1. Less than 5 minutes to go.
Nice thought to be able to rewind the opportunities that you could have made more of, John.
Yeah. It's changed my life, BBC Sounds, but it's not that good. You can't live your life over. You can't live your life over again, man.
No, you can't.
I've always told you that.
Make a different choice sometimes.
Yeah. Ball forward for Trossard. Trossard against Neto. And then Marino's ball in field. No, it's passed it straight to Enzo Fernandez, whose long ball downfield. Right, it's way out of his penalty area, with Jackson closest to him, but he heads it down. Great anticipation from the Spanish goalkeeper. Both of these goalkeepers are in the Spain squad. Here's Trossard. Trossard now into the box. Lots of Chelsea shirts in there. Marino makes himself available. Still Trossard lays it back. Odegaard's shot, but it's a bit of a laboured effort that by Odegaard, who must be feeling this actually. Now I mention it, it was blocked by a defender inside the box.
Yeah, I mean, he was frustrated with himself there, Martin Odegaard, but my instinct at half-time was thinking, well, how long is he going to play? We're now in the 86th minute, and he still looks good, John. In fairness, he doesn't look like he's labouring or particularly fatigued.
On this dark November evening, floodlights brightly on here at Stamford Bridge, and Arsenal attacking. And now it breaks down the right, it's worked by Marino with a flick. Trossard with a chance, but he puts it over the top. Really snatched at it. Is there an offside flag in there? Yes, there is. There is an offside, so if they had been able to put the ball in the net, it wouldn't have counted.
Well, it must be from the overlapping run on that right-hand side. I mean, it does brilliant. It might actually be Jesus who gets to the byline, but lovely play from Arsenal. Got the overload, worked it so well, and Trossard just didn't have the finish.
Yeah, it was the right decision. There's Nkunku, the top scorer, the Chelsea top scorer, with his 10 goals this season across the competitions. Although he's kind of your second string man, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact opposition that he's got his 10 against, but I'm only just picturing it.
Well, he got the winner at Bournemouth.
Yeah, he did.
In the Premier League. But that's his only Premier League goal.
Well, he's a top player,
yes,
in my view, and he came into the club as the number one centre forward, didn't he? When they bought him, you know, he was pulling up trees at Leipzig, and a very, very good player, and came into a difficult Chelsea club at the time, I think, didn't help him. Then an injury, and it's been a really bumpy ride for him. So they get him up to speed, John, and get him, firing on all cylinders and confident and playing regularly. I think they've got a serious centre forward on their hands.
Yeah, Didier Deschamps likes him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very good
in that French squad. On a similar theme, Neto, who scored today, his 3 Chelsea goals have been against Barrow, Ghent and Arsenal. I would say that's a unique collection. As Chelsea fans just in front of us begin to leave their seats with the score 1-1, and it's very much in the balance. But you wouldn't want to get caught in the rush, would you? Here's Partey playing it over there to the right-hand side to Odegaard, and then Odegaard gets it back. And Palmer tackles him. Excellent tackle from Palmer to take it away from the Arsenal captain. Then Cucurella runs into Saliba, and the ball ricochets out of play for what is given as an Arsenal throw, much to the anger of the Chelsea fans over there on the far side. Arsenal take the throw. Gabriel Jesus turns and rolls the pass to Ben White. Now back to Jesus again, and then Partey receives it. Saliba with a little pass again to Gabriel Jesus. This is all on the Arsenal right. It's not absolutely certain where it's going. In fact, it goes nowhere, because Enzo Fernandez dispossesses Gabriel Jesus, and Enzo Fernandez now, as Chelsea attack, Cole Palmer drifts infield, works it nicely back to Mudryk, Ukrainian, into the centre circle. Caicedo rolls the ball across the surface of the Stamford Bridge pitch to Neto. There's no great pace in this. 5 minutes of added time at the end have been added. A minimum of 5 minutes. Chelsea with Fofana in the centre circle. Now Caicedo, who is really showing some of his best form, isn't he, Caicedo, in the Chelsea midfield, as they play it out towards the left-hand side to Colwell. Long pass from him, and Nkunku is challenged by Gabriel. That's given us a free kick, and Nkunku goes down.
Yeah, it's a foul for me. The ball just held up difficult, and Gabriel wanted to win it, and Nkunku gets his body between, and then he just bumps him to the floor.
Chelsea take the free kick out towards the right-hand side. Neto's cross, left-footed into the area. It's gone a long way. It's bounced all the way through into the gloves of Raya, falling to his right. So close to a touch from either, well, a couple of Chelsea players or a couple of Arsenal players.
Yeah, teasing cross from Pedro Neto, who has to be up there as one of the players of the match. He's been excellent today for Chelsea. Really showed his quality. So high octane when he gets the ball.
Mikel Arteta's almost on the field, Matt. They spotted something.
Surprise.
Arsenal bring it forward. Trossard through the middle to Odegaard, who turns and sort of sends the ball forward, and he got what he wanted there. I think it was a touch off a defender, and it's out of play for one of those Arsenal set pieces. 1-1 the score.
He's normally sat down comfortably in his little chair, isn't he? To be on the edge of the technical area, John. Edge of the pitch, shall I say? I mean, it's
right on the edge of the pitch.
There's only it's not even a metre between that technical area and the touchline, is there? But this is a chance for Arsenal. He knows how big this is late in the game. Massive chance to put one of these top quality set pieces together.
Yeah, this could win it if they score here in the second minute of added time. Odegaard takes it. White's available. Odegaard picks him out in the box. White's cross to the back post. Saliba was there. That was headed away well by Colwell, but the offside flag is up against the Arsenal man, and it's a free kick to Chelsea inside their own box. They were very nearly caught out there. Ben White available on the edge of the box.
I mean, I suppose he was free, but just did surprise me that he just didn't swing that ball in on top of Robert Sanchez and put him under pressure and see what happened.
So it's 1-1, both goals in the second half. Gabriel Martinelli with the shot that caught Sanchez out at his near post, and an excellent goal from Pedro Neto that you'll be able to watch on Match of the Day 2 tonight on BBC One, the women's football show after that, always available on the iPlayer. And actually Manchester United, Aston Villa in the Women's Super League, there's commentary on that from 6:45 on Sports Extra. Chelsea attacking, Mudryk down the left, but that cross has cleared the far side of the penalty area, and actually Arsenal could be off on the counter-attack if Timber can reach this, but he can't, because Caicedo is able to go to ground, slide in and shovel it out for a throw on the halfway line. And we're in the 4th minute, the penultimate minute of added time. Arsenal with a throw. Trossard takes it down the line, cuts back, gives it infield. Here's Odegaard. Excellent work from Cucurella. Cucurella winning the ball back from Odegaard, and now up on an attack of his own. I think he's been tugged back by Odegaard. The free kick is given. Michael Oliver just waited to see if there was going to be an advantage there. It's a free kick.
It's an interesting one because I think he slipped a little bit there, Cucurella. I think there was an initial kind of half of a tap or a tug back from Martin Odegaard, which is why he hasn't got the yellow card out yet, and I don't think he's going to, John. No, because I think he makes an initial bump of Cucurella and then he runs alongside him. He doesn't do enough to warrant an obvious foul, and then he kind of slips over. So, you know, not too sure why it's a free kick either then.
Right.
If it's a free kick, it's a yellow card, isn't it? Has to be.
I was expecting one because it was a Chelsea attack. 1-1. 08 085 909 693 to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, and the live interviews as well we'll have during the course of 606 as Chelsea take the throw, and Cucurella can't prevent it from bouncing through for a goal kick. I think he was very optimistically looking for a free kick, the Chelsea full-back. Arsenal are messing about with it on the edge of their own penalty area. It's passed back to Raya, and then Gabriel, and David Raya out to Saliba, who turns, and Saliba then set forward with the ball. Merino, the Spanish European champion from the summer. Merino down the left-hand side to Timber. We are now in the final minute. Trossard across to Odegaard. Trossard making a run. There's a chance here for Saliba, whose ball across is deflected wide of the far post. Trossard with a touch, couldn't get enough on it to send it goalwards. That's the last action of the match, and if he'd been able to convert it, that would have been Arsenal's win right at the end. Instead, the whistle goes and it's finished 1-1.
Wow, what an end to the game. I mean, that Arsenal, Kai Havertz, head in his hands, throws his headband onto the floor in rage. I mean, they cannot believe that opportunity isn't finished. They get in each other's way. I think it's Trossard takes it off the toe. Havertz is there for a simple tap in. Mikel Arteta dives onto the floor and is rolling around in his technical area, knowing that is a goal. If Trossard just stays out of it and allows the ball to go across to Havertz, it's in the back of the net. What a finish to the game.
What a scene on the pitch as well. When the final whistle went, all of the Arsenal players involved in that move or in the penalty area, when Saliba crossed it, Trossard got the touch that sent it beyond the far post. Suddenly they were all on the ground, absolutely shattered by the fact that they did not take the chance to win this match right at the end. So it's a draw. Chelsea's third at home this season out of 6 Premier League matches played here under Enzo Maresca, and for Arsenal it's a point after the 2 defeats, but that's 4 Premier League matches without a win now for Mikel Arteta, who I think has finally now got up off the floor.
I mean, it's just so interesting that it's almost like the Chelsea fans have gone quiet and are like tiptoeing out of Stamford Bridge as if to go, got away with one at the end there. I mean, how'd that not go in? I mean, it's got that feel to it, the atmosphere of this stadium at the moment, but yeah, you can tell I say desperation. It's just the feeling of Mikel Arteta. He knows how big that moment was for Arsenal to win here today, and it just didn't happen.
So therefore, final score here at Stamford Bridge is Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1.
Matt Upson, Mikel Arteta briefly looked like a really upset child in a supermarket there. He sort of dropped to the floor and sort of pounded the ground. And I can understand why, because, I mean, if Trossard doesn't touch that ball, Havertz can't miss.
Yeah, when you want that bag of sweets up on the top shelf and your mum says no.
That's it.
And then the tantrum starts, doesn't it? And that was exactly the kind of motion that he had. But you can see why, Steve. I mean, the replay just shows that if he just stays out of it, Trossard, they work it brilliantly, Arsenal. The movement, the passes, they're patient. Odegaard gets on it. The pass from Trossard to unlock it all was superb. It was just perfect for them to score. And Havertz is along the line of the ball. It's a tap in on the 6-yard line, and Arsenal go away from it 2-1. And You know, it was taken off his toe by his own teammate, and the despair in all of the players and the manager was clear to see.
In the round, it's, I suppose, John Murray, also tantrum worthy, because I was just looking back at the October international break. Arsenal were 1 point off the top. We hit the November international break and they are 9.
Well, that tells its own story. As I just mentioned there, 4 Premier League matches without a win, and quite simply they can't afford to fall any further behind than that. And what have they got when the Premier League resumes in a fortnight's time? High-flying Nottingham Forest at the Emirates, and then West Ham away as their next match, and then Manchester United at home after that. You know, there is the amount of room for error has dropped right down for Arsenal, hasn't it?
Yeah, whereas Chelsea, Matt, I mean, if someone had told you 11 games in, you'll get to the November international break and you'll be sandwiched between Manchester City and Arsenal, Chelsea fans, I'm not sure, would have believed that.
No, maybe not. I mean, I was relatively optimistic about Chelsea at the start of this season, just from the transfer business that they did, the kind of squad they had. I kind of felt like you could take a punt and say, do you know what, this team could actually do really well and finish top 4. And they've proven that. They've proven that, and the quality that they've got players coming back from injuries like Nkunku, who's getting more minutes, and you think to get him up to speed, that's going to add a whole different dimension to that centre-forward position. And they're in a good spot. Hats off to Maresca. I think he's come in. I don't think he's got massive ego about him in terms of wanting to affect things at a higher level at the club, but he wants to coach, he wants to work with these top players, and they're a good outfit now, Chelsea. It's a much tougher place to come and play Stamford Bridge.
You mentioned the team for Wembley next Sunday. John Murray sounds like a great team. Can't help but feel that you might have missed one person out, but...
Yes, well, I was mentioning the 2 players who had played for England and the Republic of Ireland. That's what I was doing.
Okay.
It's a bit awkward, this.
Yeah, it is. You know, I look forward to picking this up with you in 7 days' time. Great stuff, both. Thank you very much indeed. Correspondent John Murray and Matt Upson there inside Stamford Bridge.